Hi guys! Today I'd like to give new Swifties a little bit of context for Taylor's music and an explanation of her life and some of the things that she was going through that serve as a background for her music and topics for discussion among fans. If you want a way to get more into her music, I'll be posting a video around Christmas for how to get into Taylor's catalog, and I'll link that in the description. Taylor was born on a Christmas tree farm in West Reading, in rural Pennsylvania. Growing up, she enjoyed country music and concerts, and performed the national anthem at a sports game at 11 years old. She started writing original songs when she was only about 13. Her family moved to Nashville when she was in 8th grade to help her pursue her dreams of country music. She signed a record deal with Big Machine Records and released her debut single Tim McGraw, which was an immediate country music hit. At 16, she released her self-titled debut album, the biggest hit of which is Our Song, which was written for her 9th grade talent show. In the 2 years following her debut album, Taylor began dating Joe Jonas, the first of her high-profile relationships, which ended terribly.
He'll be wonderful. And when I look at that person, I'm not even going to be able to remember the boy who broke up with me over the phone in 25 seconds when I was 18.
Taylor's sophomore album, Fearless, has a larger undertone of heartbreak than her debut and leaned into more pop influences. Some of Taylor's modern pop hits, such as Love Story, come from this album, and it gave her first Billboard #1 hit, You Belong With Me. In the 2009 VMAs came one of the first big events of her career.
So much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
The experience of having such a big achievement taken away was an extremely transformative experience and began a long-standing divide between her and Kanye. A year later, in 2010, Taylor Swift released Speak Now. It did not feature any huge commercial successes, but was rather her artistic exploration of blending country and pop. Coming out of Fearless, critics had theorized that there was no way 18-year-old Taylor had a big part in writing her own music. So for Speak Now, Taylor fought back by being the only writer on every single song. After Fearless, Taylor dated Taylor Lautner, who featured with Taylor in the movie Valentine's Day, and she said in the song Back to December that she greatly regretted leaving him. Another notable song on Speak Now in reference to Taylor's public life was Innocent, where she forgives Kanye for doing what he did in 2009. Taylor then began dating Jake Gyllenhaal, which breakup fueled what Taylor called her only true breakup album, Red. Red was her most pop-oriented album to date, featuring heavy, powerful heartbreak throughout. Red is her longest album and is a little bit all over the place, losing Album of the Year over Red fueled Taylor to make her most pop-focused and notable album in history. 1989. Taylor dated Harry Styles for a few months in the Red era, and she felt very led on by the short relationship. 1989 features most of Taylor's most noteworthy hits, Shake It Off, Bad Blood, Blank Space, you get the idea. 1989 showed an emotionally removed, cool-eyed sadness, which was in such contrast to the burning heartbreak of Red. 1989 won Taylor Album of the Year, and the 1989 era was one of the times when Taylor had her largest presence in pop culture. After the release of 1989, Taylor talked about her eating disorder at the time and how she struggled throughout the period. In 2014, Kanye West dropped the song Famous, including the line,
Me best, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous. Goddamn. I made that bitch famous.
Taylor then tweeted that she had never wanted to be included in that narrative and did not consent to the use of that line. Kim Kardashian, Kanye's then wife, posted a proven-to-be edited video of Kanye on a call with Taylor where she okays the lyric. Taylor's public pedestal was torn apart by the media. Every newspaper and tabloid of the time had front-page articles calling her a snake and accusing her of playing the victim. Taylor moved to a foreign country, stopped going out, and hunkered down with her boyfriend Joe Owen. Joe always wanted to be outside the public eye, which worked great at the time, but would later cause problems. Taylor returned in 2017 with her 6th album, Reputation, which is her angrily toned revenge album about her hardship. Reputation was highly criticized at the time, but a commercial success and brought her back onto the pop music scene. Taylor describes the time leading up to Reputation as feeling as if her career was over, but from the outside, it never really seems to be that doomed to fail. In the record, Taylor shows the listener how she felt like everything was over and shows them her perspective. Now at the beginning, we talked about Taylor's deal with Big Machine Records, which lasted 6 albums, of which Reputation was the last. Taylor's deal included that Big Machine would own her masters, and Taylor would own her music. So when the deal was over, she left Big Machine for Republic Records, which allowed her to own her music. Taylor wanted to buy back her masters from Big Machine, but the owner, Scott Borchettold it, sold it to the person whom Taylor requested he didn't. Scooter Braun, a talent agent known for being selfish and mean to his clients and always wanting to have public spotlight. In response, Taylor decided to make and re-release her 6 previous albums. Taylor can do this because Scooter owns her masters, so the recordings of her song, but Taylor owns the lyrics and melody under copyright because it's artistic property. Taylor is legally able to make new masters and release those under her new label, which allows her to own those masters. Then came the Lover era, Taylor's purest pop album, which some would argue is overproduced and lyrically lacking depth. But for Taylor, Lover was intended to be her moment. During the Lover era, Taylor chose to speak out for her political stance for the first time in her career, supporting the Liberal candidate for the Tennessee midterm elections. During the pandemic, Taylor had a period of extreme productivity when she released her 2 albums that ventured into the indie pop genre, which were produced by a new producer for Tear, Aaron Dessner. Dessner expanded Taylor's realm, and their collaboration had a place of both critical and commercial success with the albums Folklore and Evermore, released 6 months apart in 2020. Taylor then began her journey of releasing her re-recorded albums, starting with Fearless and then Red. In 2021, Taylor also had writing sessions that contributed to the majority of the Midnights album. Midnights brought Taylor back into greater pop stardom, critical acclaim, and into a place of public influence that Taylor hadn't seen since the 1989 era. In early 2023, Taylor and Joe Alwyn broke up, likely due to Joe not wanting to be involved in the spotlight that Taylor had. Taylor briefly dated Maddie Healy despite controversy, and now has been in a relationship with Travis Kelce for several months. Taylor announced and released both the recordings of Speak Now and 1989 while on the road for the Eras tour, both seeing extreme success. So I hope this answers a few of your questions about the life of Taylor Swift and gives you some background for her music. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Love you and see you soon, Swifties.